July is coming up oh so soon, and a brand new crop of games is launching. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on GameRanks, 10 games need to give a shot in July 2019. Coming in at number 10 is Attack on Titan 2 Final Battle, which is an expansion on last year's Attack on Titan 2. Now, if you've played the non-expanded version of the game, you know it's an action game with some pretty awesome aerial, flying around, battling. It also had the benefit of coming out before Spider-Man, so really it can kind of withstand the web-slinging comparisons pretty well on account the action in that game is really good. In the expansion, we're going to be seeing a lot of extra stuff, including not only characters, but scenarios from the third season of the anime. We're going to see new battle modes, specifically 2 of them. A battle mode oriented towards reclaiming territory that Titans had. The second is a more aerial-oriented mode. There's new weapons, more episodes and story mode. Generally, a pretty big upgrade to the experience, which is great, because the other game is great. More content in that game. If you like the original, I don't understand why you wouldn't want that. Attack on Titan 2 Final Battle is coming to PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on July 5th. Coming in at number 9, They Are Billions. Now, They Are Billions is a post-apocalyptic steampunk real-time strategy game that has been out on Steam Early Access for a while. In July, it is hitting not only full release on Steam, but also it's hitting PlayStation 4 and Xbox One as well. Essentially, you build a base, explore the map, collect resources, and so on a steampunk randomly generated world where, among other problems, you have to deal with zombies. You have to manage a bunch of resources, build structures, and of course defend from the zombies. It's really hard to do this game justice in a short period of time because really the interesting parts of it aren't immediately obvious. It does have a very nice art style though, and the art style is actually a pretty good reflection of how much personality this game has. If you haven't played it in early access, I would say definitely give it a roll when They Are Billions hits its final release on Steam as well as PlayStation and Xbox One. Coming in at number 8, Sea of Solitude is an adventure game that is absolutely gorgeous, has an amazing color palette, is bright, pretty, and also kind of terrifying at the same time. The protagonist is pretty much all black with glowing red eyes. Under the sea, there's tons of monsters and scary things, and the world is gradually kind of eroding thanks to the massive amount of water. There's not really been a massive amount revealed about this game, but the idea is basically the main character, Kay, is trying to figure out why she herself has turned into a monster. It's been noted that it is going to be talking about mental health in that way, which, I mean, if we look back at other games like Hellblade, which tackle these types of issues, it would be cool if it handles it in that kind of a way. It's gorgeous. I can't wait to play this. In some ways, it looks like it might resemble Journey a little bit, if Journey was maybe a little more violent, but I can tell you I'll definitely be playing this game when Sea of Solitude hits Windows, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One on July 5th. And coming in at number 7, Stranger Things 3 The Game, which is going to take a big turn for previous Stranger Things games in being a beat-em-up. It's an overhead view, isometric game with a 16-bit art style that I'm excited for on account it supports local co-op, and that's exactly the kind of game I want out of basically anything that does a beat 'em up. Give me the ability to do local co-op. The intent is to mirror the storyline of the third season of Stranger Things, as well as add some side quests to it. I'm making the assumption that probably means there will be stuff that you find out in the game that you can't find out without playing the game, and that, in my opinion, makes especially this kind of a tie-in game good. If it helps fill out the lore, that's awesome. Now, Stranger Things 3 The Game is coming to PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch, which is where I will likely be playing it on July 4th. Number 6 is Final Fantasy XIV Online, the Shadowbringers DLC. It's a fairly big update to Final Fantasy XIV Online with new environments, new races, jobs, and a new system they're calling the Trust System, which is more oriented as kind of a single-player mechanic that brings some more narrative elements to the game. They're also increasing the level cap from 70 to 80, there's a bunch of new 8-player raids, and they're even adding a new Game Plus system. Now, this is a game that's been around quite a while at this point. It does look like a good add-on, and it's certainly proven itself to be a lot better than at launch. In fact, you could almost even say this was the original game got good even though started bad story. Unfortunately, I don't see that story playing out the way that it did with Final Fantasy XIV recently so much, but Final Fantasy XIV is still clearly going strong. Shadowbringers is hitting on July 2nd on PC and PS4. And at number 5, Just Cause 4 Los Demonios. Now, this was originally going to be called Demons. I think changing the language sort of implies a couple of things. First, where this stuff goes down. But the DLC is the idea that a demonic force has invaded Solis. Rico and Javi Huerta checks out a necropolis on an island, and as it turns out, everything is overrun by, well, let's just say creatures. Now, the colors are just totally different than the main Just Cause 4 game. Lots of purple, lots of neon, and in truth, it looks kinda really different. I think it's exciting. It's got a demon crossbow, which is not a nice looking weapon, let's say. And everything basically looks very otherworldly and strange. I'm excited because Just Cause 4 is a great game. It's got a bunch of wild stuff in it, and now stuff that just couldn't happen in real life. It should be bizarre. Just Cause 4 Los Demonios comes out on PC, PS4, and Xbox One on July 3rd. Next, coming in at number 4, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 The Black Order. Now, this is the third entry in an action RPG beat-em-up, pretty well-received series, and in all honesty, it looks like something that I think is going to be a hell of a fun time. Like I said, it is a beat-em-up. There is a lot at your disposal as far as characters and moves. And probably even more important, being it has beat-em-up elements to it, it's exciting that there's a lot of co-op options. You can play on the same screen, you can play on 4 different switches, you can play online. There is a lot going on, and that's quite exciting to me. Like, let's just go ahead and say, too, it managed to have its own look, and I can just tell you that it's probably going to be more unique than the Avengers game they just announced. Like, I'm more excited about this than that. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 The Black Order is coming to Nintendo Switch on July 19th. Number 3 is Dragon Quest Builders 2, which takes place in an alternate history timeline of Dragon Quest II, where the bad guy won at the end of that game. Dragon Quest Builders 2, like the first, is of course an sort of different take. It's action role-playing as well as sandbox, building, all of that type of stuff. But I'm just gonna go ahead and say the first game was just delightful. It's a really fun game that does progress the story of the original Dragon Quest. This looks to do the same thing, and I'm looking forward to it quite a bit. Yes, it does ape a lot of the Minecraft aesthetic, but I think it's worth understanding it's definitely more than Minecraft. And if you're interested, maybe try out the first before you play this one, but I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm pretty interested in this. Dragon Quest Builders 2 is hitting Switch and PlayStation 4 on July 12th. Coming in at number 2, Fire Emblem Three Houses is the first home release in the Fire Emblem series since 2017's Radiant Dawn. Now, obviously, it is a Switch game, so it's going to look way better than the 3DS games that we've been seeing this series releasing on in the past, but I think we also kind of know what Fire Emblem is about at this point. I'm not going to detail the gameplay so much. It's a tactical RPG, it's got 4 protagonists, and I can't wait to play it. There's 3 peaceful but rival nations on a landmass that are currently not warring, and an incident goes down. That's really not an extensive look at the plot either, but not a lot has been revealed. That said, pretty much every previous Fire Emblem game is great. I have very little reason to believe it's not gonna be great. I love Fire Emblem. I should hope that everybody who likes JRPGs, especially tactical ones, is interested. Fire Emblem Three Houses is hitting Nintendo Switch on July 26th. And finally, coming in at number 1, Wolfenstein Youngblood is a co-op take that looks a hell of a lot more arcade-oriented than the other Wolfenstein games. That being said, I kind of think that's great. And fitting that it looks quite arcadey, it takes place in the 1980s. Of course, in a version of the 1980s, it's overrun with Nazis. BJ Blazkowicz's 2 daughters are both of the playable protagonists in this game. It just looks like a hell of a lot of fun. I've said this before, it's really hard to envision a scenario scenario where the new Wolfenstein series goes wrong. Although I will say this is definitely the biggest departure from the series it looks like they could possibly do. Still, it's really hard to imagine it's a bad thing. It's just a different thing, and not that different looking of a thing, let's be completely honest. And I think if reviews note it's way different, I think that will be an exaggerated sentiment. It looks like Wolfenstein. Looks like more Wolfenstein, co-op Wolfenstein, meaning the kind of Wolfenstein I want to be involved with. Wolfenstein Youngblood is hitting PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on July 26th. Couple of bonuses for you beyond Two Souls. The drama action-adventure game that hit way back in 2013 is going to be landing on the PC on July 22nd, and Etherborn is hitting as well, an environmental puzzle platformer that is based primarily from what it looks like on shifting gravity. It looks really cool, honestly. I love the colors, the style, and from the fact that it does look to be bending gravity, I think that it's going to be a really interesting and fun title. That's hitting PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch on July 18th. And next, we're talking about Blazing Chrome, which, if you are in the mood for some Contra-type action, and who isn't, Contra was some amazing games, and you feel like Contra Anniversary Collection and the upcoming Contra Rogue Core aren't enough, this seems like more than a promising release. It looks phenomenal. If I'm totally honest, Rogue Core looks very cool. I'm excited for it, but Blazing Chrome brings us back to the Super Nintendo style Contra game, and that's the kind I'm really there for. So you know I will be there when Blazing Chrome hits on July 11th for Nintendo Switch, PS4, PC, and Xbox One. Which games are you playing in July? Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. Most anticipated, least anticipated, whatever you have to say. If you like this video, click the like button, and if you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, and the best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription, so click subscribe, and do not forget to click the notification bell. As always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter at Falcon the Hero. We'll see you next time, right here on GameRanks.